Hello Flutter devs, welcome back to Astrodevs channel and the last video of creating this UI for our Flutter application. If you haven't watched two previous videos, we created this page and this page in last two parts. So if you haven't watched them, my suggestion for you is to go and watch them first, then come back to this video and finish your app. We are so close to 500 subscribers. So if you liked our tutorial and if you want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you won't miss on our future videos. Alright, let's just dive in. Okay, so as you can see, we kinda can have an image slider at the top. Then we need a row of items, which is a kind of a similar things we did over here. Even we have the price tag and everything. And then as you can see, these are the indicators for the sliders. And then we need kind of a similar details for it, the house's name and the location of it. And we need some badges after the title. So as you can see, these are the details badges, for example 3 beds, 2 beds, and so on. And we need a detail spot, which is a kind of a long, kind of a paragraph about the house and the details inside. And then we need a mail button and a book now. Alright, so this is a pretty simple design and we can just finish it in a short time. So we need to make one of these containers, if you remember. The main container, which is wrapping around the whole thing. We need to make this clickable. So if you have watched the previous video, the things you need to do is wrap it with a widget. Then the widget is called gesture detector. And then inside the gesture detector, you have something called as onTap. So you can pass and inside you need to set a navigator, which is .push. And you need the context first, so context, and then you need to use material page route, so material page route, which is over here. And then you need the builder, and the builder itself needs another context. So let me close this, and we need to put the semicolon and the context, and then you need to pass the widget you want to navigate to. Alright, so let's just go and create the widget for it. So inside our lib folder, I create a new file. We can call it as house showcase page, or let's say just house showcase page dot. And let's go inside, import the material package first. Then we are able to create a stateless widget for now, and let's call it as house showcase. All right. Showcase page. I know the name can be a bit long and can be a bit distracting, but I just don't want to spend time on what name we should give it. Just set a name and go on with it. Alright, right here I can just say house showcase page, and then we are good to go. And maybe I can format my code so you can see it better. And so here is what we did. We use navigator.push, and then we pass the context, and then we use material page route, and then using the builder and then passing another context to it, we can actually navigate to another widget. Alright, so let's just save our code, and let me bring up the emulator. So this is here, this is our first page. Let's navigate to the home page. So this is our home page. We wait for the image to load. You can see that we have one card over here. You can add as many cards as you want, but wherever I click over here, I can click on this because we wrapped the whole container with the gesture detector. So no matter where you click, you can actually specify. We can just come around and wrap this widget with a gesture detector, but I mean, let the user to click wherever they want. Alright, and let me close all of this, and let's go to the house showcase page. Alright, as you can see, we just have an empty container over here, and let us see what we need for here. Alright, so we can just start by, let me close the emulator. Alright, we can just set a scaffold for it first, and then we need the body, and then inside the body, you can use actually one of the image sliders, one of the actually many image slider packages for Flutter over here, but I'm not going to be doing that in this video because setting them up can be a bit time taking. So I'm just going to show you how you can create the UI, and then you can just replace what I put over here with your image slider package. If you want to see how we can set up an image slider, just let me know in the comments. I can just create that as a quick video for you. Alright, so for here, as you can see, we can just use the same tactic and strategy as we used over here. We have to put an image widget over here and then wrap it with a clip or rect, so we can have that nice border radius around it. Alright, so we can just start by doing that, but before that we actually need a column, because as you can see, these are in a shape of a column. Alright, so the first is the image, then the title, then the badges, and then the details. Alright, so let's put a column first in our scaffold, and then inside the column you can say the children. So the first child, as we saw, we need to actually have a stack widget. And why the stack widget? Because you can see that these are different widgets stacked on the top of each other. So first is the image, then is a row of items, then is actually another row of indicators. Alright, so we can just use stack widget here to create what we need. So let me set a stack widget over here, then define the children, and the first child we can use the image.asset, and then for example we can use one of the pictures we have. We can just use the same picture as we used for our card. Well, let's just use another picture for here. So assets, image, and house underline, for example 3, we can use JPG, and let me save that to see how it has been. And alright, let's see how it's now. Okay, we have the picture over here, and this is the picture for the house, and let's give it the height it needs. Then actually first let's just wrap it with a clip or rect widget. So wrap it with widget, the widget is clip or rect, and then inside it we can set a border radius. So border radius, alright, and then next we can actually wrap this with a size box. So size box is over here, and before that we can just get the width and the height of the device by using media query. So media query.of context.size.width is how you can get the width of the device, whatever device it is, and then this is how you can take in the height of the device. Alright, so first we need to pass in the width of the device to it, because you can see that it is attached to its parent, but I know it has a padding which we are going to create it in a moment. But before all of that, we just have to set the width to be equal to the width of the screen, and then the height. For example, we can see that it is kind of the half of the screen, so we can just go height times 0.5. Alright, so that is going to be the height of it, and I guess we just before that, let me format the code so everything is visible. Alright, so let's just see what we did. So our picture is here, but you can see the borders are not rendered, and the width actually is good and the height is good, but we need to change the fit value for our picture. So we need to say fit and use the box fit, and I guess we can use fit height. Yep, fit height is the thing we need, and you can see the height is actually the same value, but for creating that padding we can actually see that everything in here has that padding. Alright, so we can just wrap the column with a padding widget. So let's just say padding, and we can use the 10 because we have used 10 for our previous pages as well. And yeah, as you can see, we have that nice distance from borders. Alright, so we need to bring in these two containers, because as you can see, these are just the same. The color of the icons are just a bit different, but the whole thing is the same, and we can just bring in the price tag from here. So we can actually be more quick. All right, let's go to the home page, the dot, and the first thing we need is to go up here, and we can just take in this container, if I'm not wrong. Nope. All right, so this is, all right, we can take this container and we can actually take the whole row over here. All right, let me see where this ends. All right, I guess we can just, yep. All right, so we can take in the whole row and take it over here. So as we said, to stack two widgets on top of each other after your main widget, you need to use positioned widget. All right, so positioned, yep, it is over here, and the child is going to be a row. I just paste it over here. So I hope you guys understand what we did over here. So if I save it, we need to see, yep, we're seeing this. And so what we need to do is to use the positioned widget and define a top value. So we said the top value, if you use it, it actually creates a distance. So yeah, it created the distance. Maybe we can even go for more, like 30. But let me change the colors here. So we need to use white for this, and we need to use the white for our icons as well. So colors white, and for the text as well. So white it is gonna be, but the texts are gonna change just so we can see it better. And here the color is gonna be colors.white, and here as well. All right. So now everything is white. You can see that we use the top value, but now the width is ruined. So the thing you need to do is to just define left and right to be 0, and then you're good to go. Because you're defining that there's no distance needed for the left and the right, but we actually need it. So we can just define something for them as well. For example, if we go for 10, yeah, we can have that value. We can even go for 15. So 15 it is. Yeah, 15 is more better. And the icons itself are good, but we can change them. So the first icon, which is a menu, should be, I guess, arrow back. Yep. And that is our icon. And we can use, let me see, icons favorite for the height. Alright, so I guess it should be favorite outline. Yep, and the heart is there. And for example, let's say we want to use this back button to actually be a back button. So you just need to wrap this container with a gesture detector, as you already know. So gesture detector, and for the ontap value, you can just use navigator.pop and context, and it sends you back to the last widget you were in. So if I click on it, you can see that it sends us back to the homepage widget, and if I click on it again, we are here. All right, so the icons are there, the icons are working, and just let's bring in the price tag. So the price tag should be somewhere, and yep, there it is. So container and the rich text, we actually need the whole thing because the container is the background color and all of that border. So instead of using this column over here as the second child, we replace it with the container and the rich text, and as you can see, the price tag is over there, and we are kind of done. We can actually need to increase the top over here. For example, if I go for 14, because we need to have the distance from the border radiuses, and yep, that is cool. And maybe increase this to be 20, just to be more accurate and more close to the design we have over here. Yep, and the price tag and everything else is good. Just let's go and create these indicators. So for creating them, actually if you use a carousel or image slider package, those are pre-built in, so you just have to change the colors if you want, or change the shapes. Some of them you can just use rectangles with border radiuses, or just straight circles, but for here I just want to create them. You can actually use some widgets inside the Flutter to create one image slider for yourself without using any package. Maybe one day I create one video for it, but not for now. So I just want to show you how you can create these indicators. So if you had that plan in your mind, you are good to go. Alright, so after the position widget, we need to create another position widget, and the child for it is going to be another row, because you can see those are placed in a row. Alright, and the children of that row are going to be containers, different containers, and you can just check if one container is activated. For example, the image index and the container index are the same. You can change the value of its design and the decoration over here. But here we just want to create the first one to be active and the rest are in the default state. Alright, so in the row we are, and let's create one container. Alright, and we can actually define some width. For example, I can say the width can be 15 and the height can be 15, because we need an equal circle. And we can go inside the decoration and use the box decoration. So the color is gonna be, I guess it is not white, maybe a bright gray. So let's go colors that gray, and let's see the gray itself. We can maybe actually use a brighter shade. For example, we can go with 300 maybe. Yeah, a bit brighter. Alright, and then we need to declare the shape. The shape is box shape dot circle, and let me save it. Alright, it's here, it's up there. Maybe we can actually change the picture over here, because the picture itself is a bit bright, so we are not able to see what we have over here. Alright, so let me change the picture, house underline 2. Yep, maybe this one is better, I don't know. But we can see that here is a bit dark, so we can see those indicators. Alright, so we need to actually bring them to the bottom. So if I declare a distance from the bottom, for example, if I say 20, and if I save my code, you can see that those come over here, and I guess it is good. Yeah, I can see that them being here is good. And then we need to define left and right value. For example, 20, let's see, 20 is good. Alright, yeah, 20 maybe can be good, but we can just say we want main axis alignment to be main axis alignment dot center. So they come over here in the center, no matter how much the distance we have from the sides. We just bring them to the center, and we have created one of these indicators. We can actually give them the height and the width of 10. So let's see. Yeah, 10 is more better. And I can just copy paste the container over and over. For example, how much we needed. We have 5 over this, so I create 4, and those are over here. But you can see that they are attached to each other, so we need a bit of distance. We can just use size box, but I just want to give them a bit of a margin, which is gonna be margin right. Yep, so edge insets dot only, which is gonna be right, or maybe we can actually say left. Yeah, let's just use left, and 5. So I have to copy it for all of them. And the last one, and I save my code, and here maybe we can actually go for 10. So I click them all. By holding Alt, you can actually type in multiple places. Alright, so let's see, 10. Yeah, 10 is good. And then we need one active one. Alright, so for the active one, we actually need a border. So let me format the code, and the bug, and actually the container itself needs to be a bit bigger. I guess it's the double height and width. And alright, and the color needs to be black, and we need to have a border. So border dot all, and the color is gonna be, for example, we can use the same gray color over here. All right, let's see. This is the gray color we can use for here, and color cannot be assigned. All right, let me see. So this is the colors, gray. Maybe the fact that I am using, let me see if I remove this. All right, now we're good. All right, we could have just used exclamation mark. This is just gonna say this cannot be null, and it checks it. If it's not null, then uses it. All right, let me save the code, and yep, as you can see, we have that over here. We maybe could have just gone with 18 or something. No, it didn't need to be that big. And the border radius is actually there. If you cannot see, maybe I can just zoom in for you. Yep, the border radius is there. I'm sorry, the border is there, and we're good to go actually. And yep, this is how you can create some indicators for your images slider. And we are done with this part. So for the next part, we can actually go and use these again, because why not? You know, we are programmers, we are smart ones. All right, so we actually can just come over here and use the column for here. So this is the column we can use. All right, I guess I copied it, and we have to go outside the stack widget. All right, let's see. We go outside the stack widget, we place the size box, and for example the height can be 20, I guess. Paste it, and yep, we have those informations and datas. Alright, so we can see the text over here is a bit bigger than this, so we can just increase them. So this can be 27, and let me bring in the emulator. 27. Yeah, that is good. That is good actually. All right, and we need to have a bit more of a distance over here. So for example, I can just wrap the column with padding, and the padding, for example, I can just say only, because we just need it from the left, and 8 maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we can just maybe go with 10 or 12. Let's try 12. All right, maybe more, maybe 15. Let's say. Yeah, 15 is better. You know, we can just, you know, because we don't have the design file, we don't know the exact values, but we just go with our eyes. You know, I guess this is good for here. Yep, and the location for it, I guess the location is all good, because even here we can just see that both of them are in the same values, you know, size wise and font sizes and everything. Those look the same. All right, so we can just get going with that, and we can move on to the next part outside the padding widget, because the padding is the thing that is wrapping around the whole thing. And we can just go outside of it and create these badges. And as I said in the previous video and in the previous part, for here you actually have to create a widget for it and a component, so you can just use that component in several places and as many times as you want. And in here you can just go and create a widget for these badges, and you can just call that widget class, then for example change the icon and change the value. But in here I'm just gonna be, you know, coding them right away inside the file, and that is not a good practice for you. I'm just demonstrating how you can create a design like this in your application. I'm just not gonna spend time on those structures. All right, but I just let you know that that is how you should do it in a real project. All right, so after the padding widget, we actually need to have single child scroll view. So let's just set that single child scroll view, because you can see that these this over here can be scrolled. All right, so single child scroll view, and we come over here, we set the child to be, for example, row, I guess. Yeah, row is the best choice. All right, and the children we have, and each child is going to be a container, which is a badge. All right, so container first is going to be our container. Let me zoom in a bit so we can see the details. All right, I can see that there is no border radius needed in here, so we just have to set the decoration. All right, let me format the code a bit. All right, so decoration is a box decoration widget. The color can be the gray color we said earlier. All right, so colors.gray, and for example 400. Yeah, maybe 400 is good, maybe not. We just check. We can just check on that later when we are done with the badge. And so that is our color. And maybe we can actually set a padding for it, and as well as a margin. All right, so padding is gonna be edge insets dot all, or maybe symmetric, because I can see the horizontal and vertical paddings are different. So horizontal. All right, let's see what the AI has given us. All right, and as the child for our container, we need another row. So child is going to be another row of, first one is going to be an icon widget. All right, so icons that I don't think that we can have something as bad, but we can have something like, yep, we have something like that. All right, so icons.hotel gives you a bed, not a bed, a person lying in the bed, but that's the closest thing we can have to this. And the color can stay black, because we know the default color for the icons are black. If you haven't changed the theme data of your application, then we need to have a text next to it, but not next to it. We can actually have the size box before it. So the size box width is, for example, going to be 5, and then after the size box we can have that text widget. So the text widget is going to say 3. Let's see where we are gone. Okay, so 3 beds, and then we have to change the style a bit. So let's use the text style. The color can be colors.gray without changing its shade. All right, and then the font size, maybe we can actually go with font size 14, and let me close the part. All right, let's just see how it looks. We can actually have a brighter background color, for example 200. Yeah, maybe even 100 shade, why not? Yeah, 100 is good. Or maybe let's just use a black color. Let's see how it is. So black 12 is the brightest one, not the black one. All right, so let's just go back to the gray. All right, and 100. Let's go with 200. Yeah, we can just use the same exact color coding here, but we're just going to use these fixed colors over here. All right, and yeah, that is good. Yeah. All right, maybe if we have hotel outlined. We have it. All right, so now that is more better, because the icons are not field icons. All right, and that is the bed, that is the text. We can increase the size in here. So for example 10 be the distance. Yep, and those paddings are actually looking good. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. And we can just pass in a size box before that single child scroll wheel, so we have a distance from the top widget. All right, so for example for here we can use 20, and don't forget to put the comma in here. Yep, 20 is good as well. And we can wrap this single child scroll wheel with a padding. So the padding is going to be only again, and let's say left, and to be 15. I guess it needs to be the same value as the widgets above it. So padding 15 is over here as well. All right, yep, and now we have the badge. Maybe we can actually make the text to be a bit darker. So for example gray 700. All right, again it's invalid constant value, so let's just use a black color. So for example, black 26, 38. Alright, 45 it is. Yeah, 45 is good, maybe 54. Yeah, 54 is more visible and more better. Alright, we can even actually increase the font size of it. For example, 16 if we say. Yeah, and then the size of the icon itself, so we can just say size is equal to 16. Alright, that is so small, so let's go for second fit 20. Or even more, let's say 28. Oh yeah, we can actually have a larger icon than our text, and that is actually looking good over here. So as we said, we just have to copy paste the container, but before that, don't forget to pass in the margin, because you can see that the distance over here is the same for them. So for example, we can say margin, and I just want to use edge insets dot only and right now, because we don't want it to have another margin from the left, because it ruins the design. So we can just set, alright, so now let's have the margin from the right, so all of them would have that distance from the right. And alright, so let's say width, for example, times 0.01 or 2. I don't know if it's but let's just copy paste the container. So this is the first container, this is gonna be the second page. Let's just see. Alright, maybe I could have just said 3. Alright, let's see how the 3 is. Maybe 4. Yeah, 4 is more better. Alright, so let's just go with the 4. And the second badge, for example, can says 2 bath. Sorry. And for the bath, I don't know what we can use. For example, do we have? Oh, we did have bed. Alright. I didn't know. Oh, we did have it. Alright, so let's just change it. So let's say bed outlined, and let's see it. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that we have that, something like that. So for example, let's check if we have bath. Alright. Oh, we have bathroom, and we have, oh my god, I really didn't know that. Okay, so the icons we have here are the material design icons, and we have that. Alright. That is kind of nice. That is kind of nice. I actually was thinking before recording the video what icons I'm gonna use, and I just said, you know, let's just go on and see what we have. But I'm happy that we have actually these over here. Alright, now what we have over here, we actually should declare that we want the scroll direction to be axis horizontal. So we have the default is axis vertical, so it's a scroll like this, but in here we need it to be horizontal. Alright, and as you can see, we have the scroll over here, and this one should says, for example, 240, I guess it's mm, yep. And for example, for this we can say we do have kitchen. Oh my god. Why do? Alright, that is kind of nice. That is kind of nice. Alright, and as for the icons over there, we can just use zoom out and outline. Yep. So let's just see, and yeah, this is our icons for here. So let's go and get to this part. Alright, so for the next part, as you can see, the details can kind of go a bit longer and can cause overflow in our page. So we actually need to make the whole page to be scrollable as well. So we just need to wrap the column with the single child scroll wheel widget, which is what I'm gonna do, single child scroll wheel, and then we are good to go. And nothing actually changes because we are not overflowing anything, but we are just making sure that if we do, we are good. Alright, So outside of our padding widget, we can actually have another size box. Yep, and the width can be I'm sorry, the height can be 20. And if I save it, all right. And so we need a text. We can actually have a column, so it's a text and then another text widget to show the details. All right, so let's just make the use of a column widget. So let's say column and then the children, and before the children we need to make the cross-axis alignment to be cross-axis alignment start. All right, cross-axis alignment dot start. Let me bring my emulator. Let me just close it for now. All right, and we need to have a text widget. So the text should say details, and the style, we can say the text style, and the color can be colors.black, and the font size, maybe we can go for 16 or 18. The font weight can be bold and the font size is going to be, let's go with 18. All right, let me format the code and let me see what we have. All right, the details is there and the cross-axis alignment didn't change. Why is that? Let me maybe I had set text align to be text align start or left. All right, so for here I guess we need to wrap our column with a size box. Maybe something is changing its value to not be, yeah, that is what we had to do. All right, so I guess the thing that was happening was the column was not taking the whole size over here. Maybe there was another way to do that, but let's just go with the size box. And instead of a size box, we can change it to be a container. Let me see, container. So we can have that padding as well. So the padding is gonna be edge insets. Is that gonna be the whole thing? Yep. We can go for symmetric and horizontal, and let's say width. Yep, that is the thing we actually need. And the details is there. And for the text of the details, I'm just gonna be using lorem ipsum. So because the text can be anything, but this is just a demo. So for that, I'm just gonna be using lorem ipsum. So the actually there is an extension for it in VSCode, which is called lorem ipsum. So by pressing Ctrl+Shift+P if you're on Windows, and I guess it is Command+Shift+P on Mac. I don't know really, but I guess it's kind of a system like that. So just you just want to open up the panel over there, and if you don't see those commands, you can just type in the, by typing this character, you can just see all the commands you have. So the commands we need is lorem ipsum insert a paragraph. And all right, we were in the wrong place, so you need to be inside here. And let me do that again. So lorem ipsum insert a paragraph, and as you can see, we have that over here. So let's just format the code. We actually don't need to see all of that. And let's see how the text is. Yep, maybe we can actually do it one more time to actually have a longer text, so we can have that scroll effect as well. So insert a paragraph for the second time, and yeah, there it is. And you can see that we have that scroll. All right, and the style of it can be changed. So text style is gonna be equal, for example, let's say font size can be 18 as well. Yeah, 18. And we can have a size box over here to just have a bit of a distance. So height is gonna be 15. All right, let's save the code. And yep, I don't think that we need to change the color. I guess the color is good. We actually can increase this a bit. So for example, this can be 30 even. Yep, or maybe let's go with a higher value. I don't know. Yep, maybe let's go with a higher value. So let's say 35. And we can decrease this a bit, so let's be 10 for that. Yep. And everything else I guess is good. And we can just get down to this part. Alright, so for this part you can see that it kind of needs a, let me close that, it kind of needs a border around it and a container, let's say, which the color of that container is, maybe we can use a gradient, or maybe we can just set a fixed color. I guess if we set a fixed color, this can be good because the transparency over there is the same as the transparency over here. So I guess we can just use a fixed color, but maybe if the transparency over here was lesser than the thing over here, we could have just used a linear gradient. So the first value, or the first value if you set is over here, so the first value can be a white color with a transparency of 10, let's say, and the second one can be a bit more, for example 50%, 40%, or 30%. Alright, so I just wanted to demonstrate that. And to create one of them, we can actually go outside, or no. Alright, so for this part we actually need to wrap the whole column in a stack widget. So let's say yep, the column is here, wrap it with a column again, because, and change it to stack, because that is the closest widget shortcut that you have got over here. The stack, the column, the row, all of them uses the children as their values. And alright, and we have in the stack, and this is the last column we had, and let's use a positioned widget for it. So it needs to be a container and a decoration. So for the decoration we can just set box decoration, and we can go for the colors, not black. It needs to be, alright, it needs to be white, that with alpha or transparency, we can actually go with alpha. Alright, and alpha is a number in a range of from 0 to 255. So for example, if I say 50, this can be invoked in a constant. Alright, so we clear out that constant, and we have it over here. And we can give it a height value. So the height can be height times 2, and the width, let me zoom in, sorry. Alright, and the width can be the width of the screen, and we have it over here. And we just need to bring it to the bottom, so bottom is 0, and don't forget to set left and the right to be 0, so we won't see any changes over there. And okay, nothing is shown because nothing is inside, or maybe there is another reason. Let's just now put the child inside, and we can actually debug that if there's any error or anything that is not working. Alright, so for the child we can use a row widget, and then inside the row we need to have 2 containers, and the first container is going to be for the male icon. And we actually, let me actually take the easy way and the shortcut and bring in these containers because they're looking the same, and we just need to, you know, change the background of it. Alright, so this is the container. Alright, let's go down, let's go over here, and the container for this, let's change that. And alright, and instead of a border, or let me see, yep, instead of a border we can just set the color is equal to colors dot blue, and with the darker shade, for example, let's go with 600. I don't know, let's see. Okay, it's not shown, and let's see why. So we are inside the position. So if I remove those, let's see. Nothing is shown again. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, I can see what is happening over here. All right. So because the single child scroll view is actually, we placed the stack in a wrong place. So let me just actually cut this code. You can actually guess what is happening over here. The stack is inside the single child scroll view, so it goes all the way down to here where the widgets are ended. And we actually had to wrap the single child scroll view with the stack widget. So the actually scroll happens behind these items over here. And yeah, I just had the mistake. I actually, when I was writing the code, I was kind of in doubt if I was doing the right thing, but okay, no matter over here. We can just quickly change it to stack, and we actually removed the stack which was wrapping the column widget, and we brought it to wrap the single child scroll view, and we can just go down. And over here, after the single child scroll view, we can actually set that positioned item we had, and yeah, as you can see, it is over there. It just needs to have the bottom to be, for example, let's say 50. It's over there. And okay, the height is actually so less. Yeah, that is my bad order. All right, and this can be 0. And let's see what else. So the color over here is not actually there. For example, 150. Yeah, 150 is more better, but the height is a lot. So maybe we can change it to 15. And let's go for 12. Yeah, 12 is more better. Yeah, and we can actually increase this a bit. So for example, 180. Or even more, 200. Yeah, 200 is the last thing I want to set over here. Alright, so we can increase the size of the container by increasing the padding. So for example 10, let's go for 15, and yeah, 15 is good. And we can increase the border radius to be 15 as well. Yep, and then the icon needs to be male, I guess. Yep, male outline. Let me see what is happening. Alright, so let's say male, and so male outline. Yep, and the color can stay the same as white, and we can actually set a padding for it. We don't have any padding, or maybe let's just actually use the positioned widget to do those. So let's say left is equal to 10. Maybe 15, and the right is the same thing. So yeah, we are good to go over there. And this button over here, so I just wanted to use this button over here because they look kind of the same. So let's just bring that over here. Yeah, over here, and container, copy the container and bring it here. So inside the row after the container, and we set that, and the button is over there, but something is happening over here. So we have a margin, which is a huge margin. So if I remove that, yep, we are over there, and I have to set for example, let's see what is happening over here. All right, so first let's just change the text. So say book now, and the border radius, let me see, 15 is allowed. We set to be 15, not 50. All right, and something else is off again. So we are inside the row, we are inside the container. All right, and let me set a size box for it. So size box is equal to width, let's say again 15, and we need to wrap the container with an expanded widget. So it expands and fills the rest of the row, and yep, like that. and let's just change the height. So the height can be, or let's do the same thing we did over here. So the vertical, let's just set the vertical to be 10. Alright, nothing changed. I'm wondering why. So let's say if not 10, let's say 5. Alright, it's not changing. So maybe I had to say the height. I want the height to be let's say height times 0.08, 0.06, 0.07. Yep, or maybe 68 or something like that. Yeah, we could have just used the same thing over here. So let's say I want the height to be that, so we have the same height for both of them. And yeah, just like that, I mean, we have everything. The text behind it actually scrolls. You can just set something over here. Alright, let me show you how we can do it. So after the text, we know that the position item is gonna come above it. Alright, so for that you can just do two things. So you can just set, if the user starts scrolling, you can just remove this part, or if you can just set a margin for your container. So margin only from the bottom. And let's see, we actually have set a height, so you can just use this height and bring it over here and set it, remove that, and you have the exact margin from the bottom as it is the size of your position item widget. And you can see there's no text behind it, and all of that is readable. And we have the image slider over here. So the image slider, as I said, there are a ton of image slider packages you can even make your own, and I just didn't want to make a tutorial on that in this design. So I just wanted to show you how you can create all of this in one part. So if I restart my application to show you what we did, we created the first page, and alright, we wait for the application. Alright, here we are. We designed the first page, and the image is not loaded. Okay, the image is here. We have the buttons. If I click on the register, it brings me to the next page. So on the next page, we have the image banner, which is again not loaded. Alright, it is there. And we have the house cards. And if I click on the house cards, you see that it brings me to the house showcase page. And we have all the informations. The scrolls are working. The badges are over here. We can actually add to it. I just didn't know what is next, so I just left it to be 3 items. And yeah, we are done. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I hope this was a good tutorial for you. This was our first long tutorial series, and if you enjoyed it, just let me know in the comments what you want to see next. If you have any design that you want to see, for example, a famous app, Instagram, Twitter, or not Twitter, it's X here. And yeah, and as my last words, I just wanted to say, we are too close to 500 subscribers. So if you like our tutorial, please consider hitting the subscribe button, because it's the best support you can show us. Thanks for watching, and happy coding, guys.